Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Let's make this a little more interactive. It's the last presentation, and I know that it's been a long day for most of you. And most of you guys are waiting to eat something because it's the gastronomy fest, and I don't have any food with me, so that's a problem. But next year, I promise, let's do a gastromusikologija event where we also prepare some food as well. But this time, unfortunately, we only have a saxophone, and I will not be playing. So my name is Metehan. I am an artistic director. I studied at the State University of New York as
Vesna.
Vesna. I was going to say academic title, as Vesna
No, it's okay. That's
mentioned.
okay.
Dr. Vesna mentioned. I also have a master's degree. I'm about to finish. I'm going to be very honest. We have a little thing called thesis to finish. And the ones who are in the academic field knows how hard it is to finish that. In University of Venezia, and a couple of years ago with my dear colleague Diva, I had the great privilege to find Comica Arts in Istanbul in our basement, and currently Comica was found in Istanbul, but it grew in Montenegro. So I like to call it that way. We have an office in National Technology Park. So gastromusicology. During this period of time, we try to make music accessible for people, but people are not very open to the jazz culture. They're not very open to the music culture in general. And now we're like, how can we make this more accessible? What do people like? So for my dear Montenegrin friends, I'm going to say, exactly. So that explains us. Kafana is a great, that brings, listen, here's the pianist, ladies and gentlemen. Can I get a round of applause, please?
Yeah.
All right, so gastromusicology actually came from this concept that we're like, okay, so how can we make music accessible? How can we tell stories? I come from a theater background, and I know most of you would understand, especially Evan would understand it very well because he's the dean of the faculty. We tell stories to people, and we try to look for different ways to tell this story to the people. So we introduced this concept called gastromusicology and cultural heritage. So who are we? We already talked about this. I am terrible with slides. So we need to keep this multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary approach. And how can we do that? What does multidisciplinary mean? Okay, in nowadays, multidisciplinary means that somebody who's doing everything. Unfortunately, that's not accurate. I know a musician, I'm an actor, and I know how to do it. The guy is a fashion artist, and a textile artist. She knows what she knows how to do. We have a great gastronomist right now in Istanbul who's preparing food and bringing all these people into one table. Actually make this correct and good. My dear colleague Matt in here, that most of you meet, but I don't meet, the only person, he's one of the two people who speaks Montenegrin in the team. He's coming from a political science background, a completely different background, but he is doing arts diplomacy. So we introduced a new concept called gastrodiplomacy. And as most of you think, it is not, gastrodiplomacy is not being the ambassadors. It is about minority rights. It's about diaspora rights. It's about how to tell their stories into the world. So, in gastromusicology, what did we do? In Istanbul, we actually did a very unknown subject, I mean, especially for Istanbul, called Konferencija. So we had a Montenegrin diaspora orchestra from Roja. Their families actually immigrated to Istanbul during 1990s, and they were born in Istanbul, but their families were born in ex-Yugoslavia. And they come and they say, can we rent the room to do a balcony event? And we say, actually, financially, it makes sense that they rent the room. But we say, no, we can't rent the room. Instead, we can do a project together with our gastronomists about Balkan food and culture. And they said, okay, there's a great thing called kafasco magic that we can try. Nobody has ever told me glasses will be broken. If so, I would be a little skeptical about the subject, but we introduced this concept ethnically, and we added their music to Katana. to pets, to different foods. So we sent our chef in here to try new cuisines, different foods all over Balkans, and then let them create their own stylisms. And we brought them back, and then we did the event accordingly. While our chef was here, actually our chef did a great workshop with the gastronomy high school. So then we know how to recruit new gastronomers, because those high school students will be the future chefs. So we introduced them a little bit of the Turkish food, especially this happened weirdly during the Turkish problems happening earlier this year, but we did it again. So then we give this freedom of cultures within the Balkan region. And the good chefs that we met, we got a lot of phone numbers, we shook a lot of hands with very young people, like 18, 17 years old kids. And in the summer, we bring them as Erasmus interns to the Kapasko Veche events so that they can cook their own culture and share it in a completely different environment. And I think that makes it very precise. And another events that we do with Gastromuzikologija was actually a Gatsby event. Have you guys read The Great Gatsby?
Yeah.
Yes. Gatsby is an amazing concept. I love it. So in Gatsby concept, we first look at the traditional aspect of Gatsby. What does that mean? I studied in New York City, and in the musical theater history, they always say there was a probation era. So alcohol was banned. Can you imagine alcohol being banned in the Balkans? That would it is very, very, very emotional. I recently, I'm trying to reduce drinking, and Montenegro is not helping me. We have a great discussion about it. Because my liver actually has fattening, as you can see from below, and Montenegro is not a good help. I'm telling you, it's like I don't drink rakia, why? So okay, and in the Gatsby period, what we did, Gatsby was actually a code word. So when the police catches you during probationary, say, where are you going there? I'm for the Gatsby's. So that's what was played by. And we actually used that. So then in my team, we invited everybody who purchased a ticket, we sent them a mail saying that this is your code word, this is what's going to happen. And then we called Jack Daniels. We explained them the story, and Jack Daniels was actually the first company that sold alcohol as a pharmacy. And you know what's even funnier? The marketing specialist didn't know that. We knew. So I said, let's do a cultural event that we'll write doctor's reports, because at the time, that was the accurate way to do it. So we prepared doctor's reports, and we gave it to the audience members who came, so that if anybody who wants to purchase a whiskey was getting the doctor's report. So then we created history within itself. And that's exactly what we went through. We did shrimps, we did other projects, other things all together. And especially in Montenegro, we did some experiences of that too. We did a Euro jam, a jam session. Have you guys ever been to a jam session? I know some of you guys have. I'm not even looking this side. I've never looked into 100 jam sessions before. But anyway, jam session is when musicians come together and play along. And culturally, it started in New Orleans. And we did gumbo soup. Gumbo is the first traditional soup that was prepared. First jam session, when people came together, everybody brought something from their homes. And we do free jam sessions in Istanbul and also here in Montenegro. And in the free jam sessions, we give people gumbo. It has shrimp, it has a lot of seafood in it. So we want to show people that gumbo or jazz is coming from poverty. Because it's really hard to purchase alcohol license in Turkey, and we didn't have a license before, and people were saying, oh my God, if you guys have whiskey, that would be amazing for jazz. And no, whiskey and jazz is not a thing. Gumbo and jazz is a thing. So we try to keep it very traditional. And about something innovative that we did, actually, Eurojam. So we did a project as founded the Art Innovation Company, with the European delegation. And they're like, let's do a Eurojam. I said, what's the food? And they're like, what? I was like, if you're doing this, let's create a gastromusicology experience out of this. And they're like, is it really necessary? I went, yes. So, I mean, operationally, it makes it a disaster. That's fine. So we said, what can we do? Can we do gumbo, European delegation? No, because Eurojam is like, hi, this is gumbo from the United States. And this is jingling from like China. And that would be like very, very long. So what we did was we created this dish called one pot Europe. This dish has 27 ingredients, my friends. One from each member state of the European Union. And we made a stew. Why stew? Because stew is traditionally one of the oldest forms of Roman Empire food preparation. The Roman Empire is the roots of the European Union. So then we created this dish from scratch that has 27 ingredients. And now, actually, the Europe House mentioned, let's add a 28th dish. And let's make a cereal. Some Montenegrins to add whatever they want, add as a 28th dish. And I'd say no chilo. So this is something that we are working on. I mean, curating, it's a process that we do with curating through the dark. Yes, thank you. That's yes. So we do this curating through the dark. So we are doing this in a very Stanislavski approach, known to the unknown. We are working on the known processes, traditional, and we are here for the innovation to the unknown processes as well. And this is a cultural heritage project. We do two things very specifically for this. We do cultural sustainability. We have actually a sustainability officer in our team from Sweden, which is really something that I'd like to brag on, because I mean, how many people study sustainability? Cultural sustainability and human sustainability. Because if aliens come to this world today, they wouldn't say, oh my God, this is the Great Border, this is the Turkish border. So like macros, they would say humankind. And I think it's important to appreciate the humankind. And it's important to appreciate this common culture that we have created all together with music, with astronomy, with priests. I always personally think, how many senses? I mean, during my studies in Venice, actually, one of the curators asked us, let me ask this question to you. What ties us as human beings to this world? How do we analyze this world? We analyze this world through our five senses. And when I'm curating a project, I try to manipulate as many of them possible. And personally, when I'm working on the taste, is something that stays in our hearts and music. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. And thank you so much for your time.